Folks, welcome back to another episode of the FarmStrong Strength Academy. Back for, I think, our fourth month now. So excited to be back with you. As always, we're out near the hayfield here. And got some really relevant content for you regarding carryover into real-world work and along with doing some training work as we always do. It's slightly breezy, very overcast day, but that doesn't mean that the show's not going to go on. Just like here at the farm, we have to keep on working, just like we have to kind of keep on finding new ways to keep the training progressions going. So I can't wait to share this month's piece with you. I'm going to give you a little hint before we jump into the piece. This is going to be what I think, and have thought for several years, should be the precursor to anyone starting towards or moving towards wanting to swing the kettlebell. I know a lot of people jump off the cliff and jump into kettlebell swings right away, but I think in regards to successful long-term progressions, this would be a really nice precursor to have set, have some really good mastery of before moving on to doing kettlebell swings. So I can't wait to share with you. Can't wait to share the carryover between being FarmStrong and some of the kettlebell stuff that we do here at FarmStrong Strength Academy. Talk to you very soon. So although it's pretty damp, overcast, we've got a lot of rain. We're in a 7 to 9 inch precipitation zone. We probably had 3 inches maybe cumulative in the last month of rain, maybe a little bit more. So even though we're pretty wet here, we're standing by the hayfield, and eventually in our area you have to irrigate. And what we have right here is gated pipe. It's a method of irrigating. But how is that relevant to you? Basically looking at the hinge or the deadlift movement. So if you take a look here, typically when you load pipe, you're going to step over. You're not necessarily going to lunge or squat. You're just going to step and hinge, and you'll load that hip, pick it up, and then you're probably going to transfer hands across as you move. Very simple movement. So that's what we're going to look at today when we get into the workout piece. But it's just a step and hinge, right? Looking at some of that fascial lines, lateral sling systems, all those things. But before we get to that, we need to take a look at the single leg deadlift. Many people want to jump into the swings, like I said, but I think the single leg deadlift from a stability and general strength standpoint is a great precursor to be able to gain some mastery of. I've got a couple 16 kilo kettlebells here. If you've never done or had issue doing the single leg deadlifts, it's a great drill. I always go opposite hand, opposite foot. We're going to talk about doing it the other way probably next month. But I always go opposite hand, opposite foot because that's that transition to that X pattern, right? Left foot to right shoulder, if you will. So just a hinge here, boom, push it back, and back up. As such, right? Just a couple reps, no big deal, right? Very challenging for many people, unfortunately. So they just blast past it. It's a very underrated drill and doesn't get used a lot. So what can we do to stabilize that out? Well, if you have, again, in the aspect of using more of our lighter kettlebells, we could obviously go double kettlebells. So we're not going to be quite as asymmetrical with our load, right? So our hinge. Now our load could go up. From a technical standpoint, I want to think about closing that hip, actively closing the hip. And I always like to think about the kettlebells coming down right next to my ankle bones or malleolus for those anatomy gurus of you out there. But we have more stability because we don't have load only on one side of our body if we use doubles. Now that could be a little aggressive. We can obviously take that back to another one. If you've been paying attention to the FarmStrong Strength Academy content that I put out, Josh puts out, or the metabolic stability, you can see that one of our cornerstone movement patterns is the sprinter stance deadlift. So real simply put, sprinter stance deadlift is just a little offset. So if you can see this here, I've got my right leg as my working leg, my left big toes in line with my right heel. All we have to do here is just do this. We can do it doubles, so doubles would be a little bit of a progression of the sprinter stance deadlift. But I've got most of the working load on my right leg in this instance. Singles, we're going to always go on the inside. And again, it goes back to that X pattern. Left hand's going to grab, right leg is the dominant work leg, hinge, boom. A great entry into the single leg deadlift. What it tells us and why I believe it should be the precursor is simply that it shows us that we can close that hip actively with stability, with strength, with some good timing, and then we're not reaching out or bending over or rounding the back or things like that, because the intent is to load that posterior chain. sets us up for that. Doesn't quite have the speed and velocity, but like I've said in a few presentations, if we have a 16-year-old child in our house and we give them the keys to the car, we're not giving them the keys to the Corvette, we're probably giving them the keys to the beater. Well, the beater's no less important because we're gaining skill acquisition there. And in this instance, our single leg deadlift's our beater, and that's where we're going to gain that skill acquisition before we get the keys to the Corvette, aka the kettlebell swing. So hopefully this made some good sense. I can't wait to get into the workout with you. Hopefully they carry over in regards to the hinge, and we're going to make some nice correlation between the moving of gated pipe and the workout piece. So I can't wait to see you on that other side. Hey crew, here's the WOD for this month's FarmStrong Strength Academy. What we're going to try to do is keep a couple things going. We're going to try to keep the lateral stepping hinge that was going to be applied when we go out here and put out all this gated pipe out in the field. We're going to try to keep that theme running. We're also going to try to keep a theme running in regards to doing that single leg deadlift and how important that is. It's going to be a very, very simple build-up. We're going to build up even numbers in an ascending repetition ladder. We're also going to allow you to work on that primary drill first, so when you're your freshest in the cycle. So the way this is simply going to go is we're going to go for 3 rounds, and the repetitions, and so a round is the full ladder, is going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So real simply put, all we're going to do is we're just going to work on some single leg deadlifts. So opposite hand, so I'm going to work on my right leg here. So I'm going to start with 2. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to 2-hand clean and catch. If you watched the clean video, you probably got this. 2-hand clean and catch into the goblet position, and then a lateral stepping hinge. You can think about that as a lateral stepping good morning maybe. That'd be a really, really great way to think about it. So I'm going to do 2 of those, and then because putting pipe out is a lot of good hard work, and we're going to keep that lateral moving pattern, kind of keep it going forward in this WOD. It's just going to be burpee with the lateral jump. So real simple here. 1, 2. Real simple. So there's the FarmStrong Strength Academy WOD, month 4. Thanks for spending some time and watching. Thanks for coming out in the field, putting up with a little bit of rain, a little bit of wind, and picking up some stuff that's going to carry over to real daily functional life from FarmStrong, but can be applied across many avenues. Talk to you very soon.